Recently I got a project for migrating the PHP application into the Node.js application. So the time when we got that application, what type of tools that we are going to use, because Node.js does not mean that we can go for only Node.js. So we set up a team. So we just want to first finalize what are all the technical tools that we are going to use along with the Node.js. So when we are converting or when we are migrating from PHP application to the Node.js application, so the application is already running, the actual web application is already running. As usual, we decided to use Express.js. Want to use some proper ORM framework in our application, which is in Node.js. So we decided to use sequelize framework, because sequelize is like a Node.js library which helps us to connect with any RDBMS database. Even if you want to use Oracle or some other RDBMS database, we can able to use. But in this thing, we are already using a mysql. So we decided to use sequelize framework in our application. So we installed. Then, as usual, in order to render our HTML, we decided to use one view engine called handlebar. So which is very easy to use, because initially people are telling to use Pug framework, but the problem with the Pug is we need to learn a lot of things, because the structure will be like very different, not easily understandable, because we didn't have time. So what we decided is we have just searched it in Google, then we found this handlebar, because it's very easy to use, and getting the data from the Express, and we just put it in our HTML, which is very easy to use. So we decided to use handlebar. We installed that handlebar as well. So now the final thing is we need to create the REST API. So the existing application, they have around 7 pages like home, about, and their courses, as well as the contact page. So most of the things are getting the data from the database, they want to populate in their actual website. We implement same get method in our APIs with the appropriate endpoints as well. And one more thing, we don't want to change the endpoints, because whatever the endpoints they are using in the existing application, the same thing we are going to use, because they already done SEO, search engine optimization, advertisement, all these things are going on. So if we are creating the new URLs, of course it creates a lot of problem, right? So we decided to stick with the same URLs with the same output. Only thing is how it is rendering from the server is just a different actually. Okay. So now the next scenario is we created all the APIs. So if it is working, which means we can able to get the output, whatever the HTML that we are having. Now we need to integrate our application to the database. So as we decided, we need to use sequelize framework. We created the models. So whatever the table that they are using in their existing DB structure, the same thing we have implemented in our models also. So around initially, we want to decide whether this configuration is working fine or not. So we as soon as possible, we just implemented the sequelize framework in our application, and we decided we want to test our application with our MySQL database, which is working fine actually. So we just happy, because most of things are working fine. Our front end is also working fine. Our back end, which is connected with the database, is also working fine. Now only thing is we need to complete our project and deploy our project to our web server. So now the application is ready, so we want to deploy it in our application. Now we want to deploy it in our server, and yes, it was working fine actually. So it was estimated to 1 week, but we completed within 2 or 3 days. That's it, it's completed. So